Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
So we are talking still about the source, and we have already figured out that VR is Q by 2 pi r and V theta is 0. Q refers to the volume flow rate or the strength. So Q is the strength of source. Let's use the Bernoulli's equation. We have already shown this is an irrotational flow. So therefore, the equation tells us that V square by 2 plus P by rho plus GH is constant everywhere, because the flow is irrotational. Let me call this constant as C. We are going to neglect gravity. So we can say that the flow is happening in a horizontal plane and we are not interested so much in the gravity. So this term we are not going to worry about. All right, so let me write down what is V square. V square is essentially V r square plus V theta square, and that would be simply given as Q square over 4 pi square r square. Okay, V theta is 0. So from this equation I can write down that Q square over 8 pi square r square, that's the V square by 2 term, plus P by rho is a constant C. As r goes to infinity, so I am interested in this flow. This is the source, this is the origin, r equal to 0, and if I go far away from the origin, then of course I can see that VR tends to 0. Okay, my speed is varying as Q by r. V theta is already 0, and my P goes to atmospheric pressure. So if I plug that in here, r goes to infinity, this term vanishes, C goes to P atmospheric. So I can say that C must be P atmospheric by rho. And therefore, now this tells me that my P is actually given as, P by rho is given as P atmospheric by rho minus Q square by 8 pi square r square. Very interesting. Let's try to plot it. Okay. So this is R and this is P. Let me mark here the atmospheric pressure. So this is P atmospheric. What I know is that when R is very large, I am close to P atmospheric. And you can see that when R goes to 0, this function actually blows up and I get a minus infinity. So this curve would look something like this. Very quickly it blows up. Okay. In fact, what we see is that far away the pressure is atmospheric, and then as you go inside the close to the origin, where the source is emanating from, then you get what is known as negative pressure. So mind you, this is atmospheric pressure. Anything less than this is partial vacuum. But what we have gone below zero pressure is actually completely unphysical. So in some sense, this region is unphysical. So I would like to write here that there are unphysical value of P close to R equal to 0. And that is happening because of the singularity of the flow. Okay? So we are talking about a flow that has a singularity at R equal to 0, okay? Simply because the velocity is infinite. Okay? At R equal to 0, the radial speed is extremely large, and it is simply to give you a finite Q, okay, the volume flow rate, and that's what leads to this singularity in the pressure. So what one can do is to regularize it, kind of patch the velocity description near R equal to 0 with some other function. Of course, we are not going to deal with that, but I just wanted to show you how the pressure distribution looks like. The next building block that we want to use for the potential flow is what is known as a vortex, a free vortex. Okay. In a free vortex, it is very similar to the source, that the role of the radial and the tangential speeds, they are interchanged. So this time we are going to have the radial speed to be 0, and v theta is going to be finite, but it is going to decrease with increase in radial distance. So we are going to use k by r. Okay. Again, you can notice that at r equal to 0 we have a problem. Okay. This v theta is extremely large. So let me observe this right away, that there is a singularity at r equal to 0. Notwithstanding that, we are going to do certain analysis, try to find out the stream function, the velocity potential, and make a comment about the pressure distribution as well. So first thing, the circulation. The circulation gamma is, if I take a curve C, then essentially I have to do this v dot ds, and my circulation has to be, the estimation has to be done on that curve, that I go around it in a counterclockwise direction. Okay, so this I can carry out. So I'll again draw a small diagram here. In fact, you can already guess what the streamlines are going to look like. These are going to be circles, because if I look at any point, suppose I look at a point theta at any point at a distance r, then my radial speed is 0, so there is no flow in the radial direction, but there is a v theta like this. So if I drew a velocity profile, this would be the velocity profile, sorry, the other way, it is k by r, so my r is reducing. So in fact, I am sorry, maybe I don't draw the velocity profile, I just show you that the velocity is in this direction. In fact, if you want to draw the velocity profile, maybe this would be a good axis. Let's do that. So my v theta goes to 0 as r goes to a very large value. So in fact, if I had to draw a velocity profile, it would look something like this. So I would get very large speeds and a 0 speed as my r approaches infinity. Okay. All right, to calculate a circulation, I would choose this curve C, which is at a distance r from the origin, and as you can see, I only have a tangential speed, and I am integrating along this curve. So this integral is rather easy to estimate, and I can get out of this essentially V is k by r, and ds I can simply write as r d theta, and the limits of integration I can now write from 0 to 2 pi. And if you carry out this integration, this would be k stays, this would be 2 pi k. And therefore, I can say that my k is gamma by 2 pi. So if gamma is the circulation, then my constant k is essentially just circulation divided by 2 pi, and we usually say this is the strength of the vortex. Okay. So this is interesting. This vortex, now we are saying that it has a finite circulation gamma, and the strength is actually gamma by 2 pi, it is not 0. Okay. So how about the irrotationality? And you can check this, that if you took a curve which does not pass through the origin, then you can show the circulation around that curve would be 0. Only if you take a curve which encloses the origin, then the circulation is non-zero. Okay. So maybe I will write a remark here that you can show, and probably you should, that circulation for a curve that does not enclose origin is 0. So what that means is that this value of circulation is essentially because of the singularity at the origin. If you can somehow ignore that singularity, then you would be able to see that the circulation is 0, and therefore the flow would be irrotational. So the other way of looking at it is by computing the vorticity. So let us compute omega, which is the curl of the velocity. We will have to do that in the cylindrical coordinates. So let me give you the expression for that. So this is 1 by r E r, this is E theta, and this is 1 by r in the k direction. And this is of course del by del r, del by del theta, del by del z, and Vr, V theta, Vz. We are interested in omega k, which is essentially the component in the z direction, that means outside the plane of the flow. So that's because it's a two-dimensional flow. Okay, omega k would be given as 1 by r. So I would take just this expression, del V theta by del r minus del Vr by del theta. I am sorry, there is a r V theta here, so I made an error. This should have been r V theta. Okay. And what you can now do is substitute for the expressions here. So this is del by del r of r times V theta is gamma by 2 pi r minus the radial speed is 0. Okay. So these cancel out, and this quantity of course is now 0. So you actually get 0 by r. Okay? And you can see that your vorticity is actually 0 everywhere except when you get very close to the origin. Okay? So this actually blows up at r equal to 0. So there is again what we have shown, a singularity at the origin. So your flow is irrotational everywhere. So the bottom line is flow is irrotational everywhere except origin. Okay, so there are a lot of similarities between the free vortex and the sink, except the fact that the sink and the source are flows with radial speeds and the vortex is a flow with tangential speed, but both have a singularity at origin. They both have a very similar pressure field. In fact, because we have now looked at Vr equal to 0 and V theta is k by r, so if you look at V square, the speed, that will also vary as 1 by r square, and therefore the pressure would behave exactly the same way as we saw for the case of a source or a sink. Again, very similar. The singularity in the case of source or sink arises because of the mass condition being violated at origin, and in the case of a vortex it is violated because the flow is irrotational at origin. There is an extremely large tangential speed at the origin, just like a very large radial speed in the case of a source or sink. We are now very close to finishing this, and what I will do is I will just show you a few more things about the divergence field of this flow, and then write down for you the stream function and the velocity potential. Let us test the incompressibility condition for the free vortex flow. So the divergence of velocity is going to be given as 1 by r del by del r of r Vr plus 1 by r del V theta by del theta. Okay. And this you can check is going to be 0 everywhere. Okay, you can substitute for Vr, which is actually 0, and you can substitute for V theta. Okay. What about the stream function and the potential flow? We can show that phi is given as gamma by 2 pi theta, and the stream function is given as minus gamma by 2 pi natural log of r. If I draw the equipotential lines, so let us say this is my axis, this is the origin, then the equipotential line are essentially simply lines with constant theta. These are my equipotential lines, and the stream lines are going to be essentially lines where I have these are my stream lines. So stream lines, as you can see, are lines of constant r, and lines of constant r are circles, and the equipotential lines are lines of constant theta, and these are simply radially outward lines. I have already talked about the pressure. It looks very similar to what we saw for the source and sink flow. So we would like to stop here we have done 3 basic flows: the uniform flow, the source and sink, and a free vortex. Now in the next class we are going to use these as building blocks, combine them and use the principle of superposition to get more complex flows. Thank you.